What's going on, guys? It's Andy from That Fit Investor. Thank you so much for joining today. I'm going to jump in right away on the Logan Paul fiasco right now. So there's a lot happening with Logan Paul. A lot of the public things with Logan Paul, his boxing career, his prime drink, not only those two things, but, his boxing stuff. He's got just a lot of things happening. The Pokemon box being fake. So he has a lot of publicity going on right now. And one of the things that are not really being talked about is the benefit of what's going to be happening in 2023. So I don't know if you guys know this already, but him and Jake Paul both are from California. They moved from California to Puerto Rico. That was an incredible move because the numbers just make sense. For example, so for everybody who lives in California, if they're in the tax bracket that Logan Paul and Jake Paul are currently in, they're going to be taxed between 35 to 37%, and on top of that, they're going to be receiving about 13 to 14% state income tax. So that's a lot of money, guys. So for every $1 million that they make, they have to pay $503,000 per million that they make. Now, it was reported that Jake Paul made $45 million boxing in his boxing career. The guys, that is not touching on his YouTube status, not touching on pretty much any of the other endorsements or anything like that. That's just his boxing career made about $45 million. Now, if our calculations are correct, that would leave us with a total whopping $20.8 million that he's going to have to pay in taxes. Guys, that's $20 million on boxing taxes. That's huge. So a lot of people don't see that they're saving a ton of money by moving from California to Puerto Rico. Now, for Puerto Rico, you have to live there approximately 580 days to obtain residency. You have to go through 2 tax years as well. Once you have a Puerto Rican residency, all you have to live there is 56 days out of the year so that you can still obtain that. Now, mind you, guys, they're paying 37% federal income tax, and then on top of that, they're paying about 14% of state tax. So that's huge, guys. They're going from that all the way down to about 4%. There is no income tax in Puerto Rico, and there's no capital gains tax either. That's why a lot of people move there. So they're only paying 4% in tax as compared to 35 and 14. I can't really do the math right now. That's what, almost 50%, right? That's 50%, or close to 50%. That's huge, guys. So they're moving, right? They set up Puerto Rico residency, and they only have to stay there for 2 consecutive tax years, fiscal years, so that they will obtain the residency there. Now, one of the things that I want to talk about is the benefit of them moving to Miami.
Oh, wait a minute, Andy. Why are they moving to Miami?
Well, great question, guys. They are looking into buying 2 penthouses equivalent to $40 million. That's huge, guys. So they're spending $40 million, so it's about $20 million each. It's really roughly about $21 million for Logan's penthouse and $21 million for Jake's penthouse. As you guys can see here, they were taking a virtual tour of this building. The building's going to be called 11. It's going to be literally in the heart of Miami, and they're going to have 2 towers, and both are going to be owned by Logan. Not the tower itself, but they're going to own the penthouse that's going to be there. They're going to have their pools. They're going to have a helicopter pad up top, which you guys have been seeing. Jake Paul right here is a video of him going into his helicopter. So they are making moves into buying helicopters, and that's all because they can park it on top of the roof. That's going to be a pretty badass thing to do, and to say is that, hey, let's not drive, there. Let's take the chopper. Get to the chopper. So I think it's pretty cool. Now, that's going to mean a lot of different things for Miami. Miami, for some reason, has had an explosion of real estate, which is awesome. But you can see Miami really being focused on people who are into partying, people who just love the scene, the Ferraris, the money, the Gucci bags. It's kind of like the scene for that kind of stuff. And it's also a hub for tourists to come through. What you're not really seeing a lot of right now is the explosion of content creators all living in Miami because it's so expensive. So people are moving in the outskirts of Miami to kind of say that they live in Miami and to create content in Miami. So what we're going to be seeing is a lot of more influencers and bigger influencers who are going to see, this moving of Logan Paul and Jake to Miami, and they're going to start wanting to come there. So it's going to help bring more creators, in my opinion, to Miami. Again, Miami is the hub for creators, but I believe even more are going to start coming down. And I think a lot of people are going to do the Puerto Rico-Miami flip. So they're going to go to Puerto Rico, live there for 2 years, and after they live for 2 years, they're going to go and move into Miami because the Miami taxes, again, are not as awesome as Puerto Rico's. But in 2023, they opened up this tower. They'll buy the 2 penthouses, and the cool thing is they're still going to be taxed Puerto Rico because they only have to live there between 56 to about 59. I have trouble finding the information. But only 2 months out of the year they have to live in Puerto Rico. So when they go to camp, like fight camp, that's where they're going to be training in Puerto Rico, and it's going to give them the residency that they need, and they're going to be saving millions and millions of dollars. Now, mind you guys, the millions and millions of dollars that they saved by leaving California after 2 years, guys, that's an incredible amount. $20 million is what Jake Paul saved, and that's what he's going to be using. Instead of giving $20 million to the government, he's spending $20 million on the penthouse. So it all lines up. It all makes sense. And we're going to see a lot of change happening in the world of boxing inside of Miami. I think Miami is going to be the new hub for boxing. So guys, if you guys like this video, please give it a like. And if you guys want me to analyze anybody else's deals, anybody else's life, go ahead and leave me down a comment down below, and I'll try my best to do so. But until next time, guys. Peace.